You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Bremen Motor Cars and by Wellington Anti-Aging. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.
Well, I got some Yankees baseball coming up here on 640 The Hurricane, and if you're a Yankees fan, you can't stop talking about the loss that happened yesterday. Tight game, but if you're a Yankees fan, you just got to feel like maybe you had a chance if it just weren't for your lazy catcher, Gary Sanchez, who had, a banner awful game. If you look, a couple lazy plays, fighting the dugout, just pretty much everything. So Leo's in here today to lay it all out. Now, it begins early in the game, Gary Sanchez.
Oh, yeah.
And basically, you want to hang this loss on Gary Sanchez, do you not?
Yeah, I do. And listen, there were other things that happened. There were other things that happened in the game, but you lose by 2 runs, and I can give you 2 runs in 2 examples right now.
Okay.
First inning, first 2 guys, Sevy mows down, third guy up hits a double. No big deal. There's 2 outs. Get the next guy. He's got the guy on a 1-2 count. Throws a beautiful curve over the left corner that's definitely going to be called a strike if Sanchez, I don't know, catches the ball.
There's that.
He gets crossed up, although I don't know how he got crossed up. He calls the
baffling.
pitch.
Yeah.
You're the one that put the finger down.
It's baffling because it wasn't like a crazy breaking ball either. It was just a nicely placed curve that you just called. I don't know if he closed his eyes or if he sneezed or what happened.
You're thinking about donuts. Who knows?
Yeah.
But he does look a bit tubby.
Oh, my God. Tubby's a nice word. Tubby's actually offended.
Yeah.
Tubby's offended by calling him a tubby.
So, that crosses him up somehow and hits off his foot and rolls over towards third base. Okay. So the runner starts to advance to third, and, of course, Sanchez decides that, there's a passed ball. Maybe I'll go trot over here and try to retrieve this.
He's barely moving.
As the guy rounding third sees Sanchez's effort, he just sprints for home and scores. You scored from second on a pass ball, which, by the way, it wasn't passed over onto the first base side. He had to run by Sanchez. He had to run by Sanchez.
So you just have to run.
Score.
You have to run to the ball. And if the base is 45 feet, it was probably about 30 to 35 feet away from him. So, you're talking about the base runner on seconds going 90 feet to Sanchez's 30, and he's got the pitcher at home he could have thrown over to. But the thing I think also is telling from that play, there's an obvious scouting report on Sanchez because the lead that the runner on second had, he was full head of steam when he saw Sanchez trying to come. So when he saw the ball go away, first thing is you're saying Sanchez, the report has to be out on him that he doesn't hustle.
No, he doesn't.
So, he premeditatedly knew that he was going to try for home when that ball even started barely rolling away from Sanchez.
I'm sure the thought was in his brain that I'm going to head for third, and if I see any kind of stumble or a Snickers bar fall out of this guy's pocket, I'm running for home.
Right.
And so, the thing about Sanchez, there's 2 things. Yes, he's fat and he's lazy and he's slow.
Okay.
But the dude has an electric arm. He can throw people out from his knees. Like, the guy can throw 90 miles an hour from home to second base from his knees. He's gifted.
Yeah.
I will give him that. But that effort yesterday was so insane, and you cannot defend it. There's not one person that I've talked to or seen anything written that says, I get it. Not one.
No.
So, that's one run. That's right there. It's 1-0.
Okay, the only possible defense. Has he not recently had a growing injury?
Listen, if you're not ready to come back from the DL, don't come back. I'm sorry. I don't buy that. Look at Cespedes, the Mets guy. He came back one day, walked off the field and said, I can't go. I'm done. I got to go back in the DL. You got to be honest. If you can't run and a groin injury, I don't know, that might be something that's hard to do when you're squatting all day.
Yeah.
If you're not ready to go, don't go. We have 2 catchers. We have 2 other catchers. So it's fine.
So there's no way you can't take the blame off him. You can't come up with a good enough excuse
No.
for what Sanchez did.
So then fast forward to the end of the inning when Sevy's now thrown 27 first-inning pitches. He's given up a run that wasn't his fault.
Yeah.
And now, look, that's 2 innings of pitching right there for Sevy.
Yeah.
He comes into the dugout, and he lights Sanchez up, rightfully so. Just lights him up. Here's what bothered me about that. Sevy did what he was supposed to do. Sanchez starts yelling back to the point where Gardner has to come over and split these guys up. Now, you had a great question earlier. Where the hell is Aaron Boone in all of this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, I mean, because why is Gardner managing the team?
Right.
And why is he dealing
because
with this?
Boone is the shucky darn guy. Boone wants to be everybody's friend. He wants to do imitations, and he wants to laugh and giggle and all that other BS. And he doesn't have any interest in being a hard-nosed manager. This is why they moved on from Joe Girardi. They thought he was too mean to the kids. Well, this is the other side of it. This is a guy who's too nice, and he's too player-friendly. You still got to do your job, by the way.
What was Sanchez's and Girardi's relationship like?
They did not like each other at
Okay.
all. And I mean, and listen, here's the thing. You have to understand why Girardi was critical of Sanchez. What did Girardi do his entire career? He was a catcher.
Mm-hmm.
So when he says you need to learn how to block those, you need to learn how to get down, you need to learn how to pivot, you need to learn, like, he's not saying that because it's just stuff he's grabbing out of the air.
Mm-hmm.
He's saying that because, I don't know, he was a Major League Baseball player at a catcher that won World Series. Like, this guy knew what he was talking about.
Yeah.
But Sanchez was like, I'm the future, be quiet.
Did the Yankees make a mistake getting rid of Girardi?
Geez, I don't know. Listen, I wasn't a big Girardi fan. But I did tell you, I came in on this show and I said, I'm very skeptical of this move, and I have to trust, at the time, I have to trust and believe that the only way Cashman, with this group of players, with this World Series ready team, the only way he took and said Boone is ready is because there was something said that made him believe that this guy knew how to manage this team. I'm telling you right now, if Cashman is sleeping at night, I would be shocked. This guy has got to be going, oh man, I don't know. I really don't know.
It seems like you got Sanchez's laziness running unchecked right now.
Absolutely. So listen, this is the biggest test of right now, and I don't want to call, one decision that you make being what could or could not end your career. You don't bench Sanchez today, you have a very big problem, because the message that sends to the rest of the team is do whatever you want. Do whatever you want. He's got to bench him. He has to bench him. If that lineup comes out today and Sanchez is in it, I'm not watching. And I'm a diehard Yankee fan.
Yeah, it's a big deal if you don't watch.
Diehard Yankee fan. That'll be hard for me to get over. You get to the ninth inning, and not only has he done this in the first inning and fought back with the pitcher, who was correct, by the way, you then get to the ninth inning, and it's a one-run game, and he hits a ball. Aaron Hicks is killing himself to get to second, so the guy can't tag second to end the game. He gets there, throws his body into the bag, gives up his whole body, and the second baseman right then, as he tags second late, looks over at first and goes, oh my God.
There's still no one there.
Sanchez is still not at first. Let me throw the ball over there and get him out. I mean,
game would have been tied.
And
because you got Aaron Judge coming in from
and you
third.
see him running out of the box. He just he never ran.
No, he dogged it. Yeah, he dogged it.
Never ran.
Half the way down the line, he dogged it.
And here's the thing: no one thinks Sanchez is the fastest guy in the team. No one thinks this guy's fast at all.
Well, but you see the change in the effort.
I want to see you run. That's all. If you ran and you were still out because you just weren't fast enough, that's different.
Well, the problem is, too, you've got this hanging over from the first inning.
Yes.
Lack of hustle has already cost you a run, and now you've just cost definitely the game, which would have tied it all up.
Absolutely.
And then instead, you lose 7-6. You drop back even further behind the Red Sox, who, by the way, are just crushing it.
They just keep winning.
They're 40 games over 500 for the first time since 1949.
How many?
40 games over 500.
Listen,
so the Yankees are trying to keep pace with that, and the Yankees, you're 13-13 since June 22nd?
Yeah. Now listen,
500?
I don't know. I'm not a baseball expert, but what I have done my entire life is watch this team. So I'm a Yankees expert. I knew when that road trip started before the All-Star break, when they were going to Toronto, into Baltimore, and then Cleveland. I literally said they will be 4 games out before the All-Star break. They were 4.5 games out.
Yeah.
Then they come out and they start the second half and just lackluster, man. You were 6 games out.
Yeah.
By the end of this month, they will be 10.
There's no
There's
urgency.
no way. They cannot beat crappy teams. They play down to horrible teams, and Boston doesn't. Boston dominates the teams they're supposed to dominate. They are going to kick the crap out of the Orioles for the next 2 nights. That's just going to happen. Meanwhile, the Yankees will continue to struggle against the Tampa Bay Rays. By the way, here's a disparity for you, and I don't want to take up too much more time. Yesterday, starting lineups, home runs, Yankees, 128. Starting lineup of the Rays yesterday, 30 total home runs.
Oh my gosh. Come on.
Rays hit 2 home runs, Yankees 0.
Wow.
Okay. Yankees have their Cy Young guy on the mound, gives up 6 runs. The Rays ran out everybody and their mother out of that bullpen. They win. That's
It's a mystery.
You can't even write it.
I mean, my gosh.
Unbelievable.
Well, if you're listening on 640 The Hurricane right now, Leo's going to go back, check the radio, and as soon as he hears Sanchez, he's going to turn off the show.
You know, the only good thing about when this stuff happens to the Yankees is we get a nice, fresh Leo rant, and that's always.
I literally went up to him. I go, "You want to make Gary Sanchez better? Come on, you're gonna complain about him on the show."
It is
Yeah.
therapy for me, by the way.
It is.
Yeah, I know.
No, it is.
Yankees
Hope we don't
better.
interrupt you.
I feel better.
Yankees coming up on 640 The Hurricane. We still got more on the podcast and on YouTube from Kevin's other show, including some amazing stuff going on between Floyd Mayweather and 50 Cent that you can't miss. We got some of the highlights on that on the podcast. That's going to be coming up next. And on 640 The Hurricane, the Yankees.
Think Loria did a bad job? Wait till you hear this crap. It's Kevin's other show on 640 The Hurricane.
I mean, it is just great drama that is going on right now between the champ, Floyd Mayweather, and 50 Cent. Former friends who have been beefing for quite a couple of years. They're on again, off again when it comes to their friendship. Now, Ricky Bobby, I don't know if you have the stuff over there in front of you, because in just a second I would like for you to play the role of the champ, Floyd Mayweather, here, because, I mean, my gosh, it is just full out nuclear on their Instagram accounts right now. Now, they've been fighting around back and forth, for a while. In fact, I remember once upon a time, there was the whole thing, the big blast that happened where you remember when Floyd Mayweather went to the New York radio station and he tried to read and it did not go well.
Yeah, that happened. It was really bad.
Yes, to kind of like reframe this was some of the audio, and this gave 50 Cent a lot of fuel.
I'm Floyd Mayweather, and I've joined Heart Radio for the show. Your Stripes movement to support. Hi.
When he wants to read and write, he can text me then.
Okay. Hi, I'm Floyd Mayweather, and I'm Floyd.
What are you doing with a school bag on stage? You can't even read.
I'm Floyd Mayweather, and I've joined Heart Radio for the show.
I heart
Your
Floyd.
Stripes movement to support hiring vets.
You can't even read.
Go to the show, yourstripes.org. Go to the show, yourstripes.org.
If you could read one full page of a Harry Potter book.
Go to show your stripes.
So that was it. So when you do that, Floyd Mayweather, 50 Cent jumped in, and yeah, what you heard there was he said that he would offer up $750,000 and donate it to charity if Floyd Mayweather could actually read one single page from a Harry Potter book.
I don't think he ever did it.
I don't think he did.
No, he didn't. So last month, Floyd Mayweather drops $18 million on a watch. 50 Cent then goes on blasting him, saying, man, they found the one N-word in the world dumb enough to buy that watch.
Oh, my gosh.
Damn.
Ouch.
So now Floyd Mayweather is kind of firing back and is offering $1,000 a day to 9 people who can come up with the most vicious lines to make 50 feel bad about himself.
$1,000 a day?
Yes. Well, $1,000 a day to 9 people. So that'd be $9,000 a day.
Wow.
if you count that. Now, here's some of the Mayweather posts. I'm going to let Ricky Bobby take the role of Floyd Mayweather today, and I'm going to take the role of 50 Cent here in just a second. This is what Floyd Mayweather has posted up on his Instagram account. A little paraphrase. We had to clean up some of the language. And,
Yeah, please. I'm like reading through this. I'm like, what?
You're
do I
all
have to
safe.
skip
Don't
over
worry.
anything?
It's all completely safe. You're good to go.
50 Cent's 2018 net worth, $20 million. Floyd Mayweather's newest timepiece, $18 million. He said, "Your son, your own flesh and blood, don't want nothing to do with you.
Ouch.
You haven't had a hit song on the radio in who knows when. You are jealous of any rapper, athlete, or entertainer that's hot or got something going on for themselves." This is a little weird, the run-on sentence here. You're currently living in an apartment in New Jersey. Why don't you tell everybody how you got herpes from DJ?
Gosh.
Who's DJ? Post
question.
on your...
DJ Tanner from Full
I
House?
have no clue. Post on how your Coca-Cola deal wasn't really $300 million, you effing liar.
I have a feeling he didn't say effing.
Well, it says effing here. I'm
Okay.
reading.
He had the real word.
yeah, that's what I thought,
we
yeah.
clean it up.
I
a bit,
know
yeah.
where all your bones are buried,
Whoa.
so be easy, Curtis Jackson.
I'll use his
and
real name.
by the way, don't ask to borrow no more money from me.
Oh my gosh.
So, I mean, just to kind of like break it down, I mean,
a
here
lot
he
larger.
is. Floyd Mayweather's talking about 50 Cent having herpes, how his big old, vitamin water deal with Coca-Cola was not $300 million. You're lying about that. You don't have any money. You're living in an apartment in New Jersey. You keep coming to me begging for money. So that's the initial gauntlet that's thrown down by Floyd Mayweather. Now, this is what 50 Cent is doing. This is his troll game. He starts writing, "We're going to start with your 11 domestic violent cases.
Let's start there.
Remember, you asked for this.
Uh-oh.
The champ is really 63-0. He beat 50 men, 11 women, and caused 2 bodies keep calling me.
Oh my gosh.
I watched you do some foul S-bomb to Riala, and he is your best friend. When he broke up with his girl Jessica, you kept her around, got her an apartment, bought her a car, all because you wanted to F her. Tell everybody why he was on FaceTime when he killed Stephanie and himself.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, Lord.
It was because he was confronting you about effing his wife. Oh, the champ's so sensitive, he turned his comments off.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, basically to break all that down, if you're confused,
Yeah, but please do break that down. There's like accusations of murder.
50
I was gonna
Cent
say it's in front of me, and I'm still worried.
is accusing Floyd Mayweather of sleeping with late rapper Earl Hayes' wife, Stephanie Mosley, leading Hayes to kill himself and then Mosley.
Jeez.
In 2014, Hayes reportedly FaceTimed Floyd Mayweather Jr. from his home before murdering Mosley. The rapper then continued to talk with the boxer on FaceTime before taking his own life. While it was originally believed that Hayes was upset because Mosley had slept with Trey Songz while they were married, 50 Cent now claims it was actually Floyd Mayweather being the reason for the turmoil in the relationship. He also claims that Mayweather attempted to sleep with rapper P. Rila's significant other, Jessica, but Rila didn't care.
This is unbelievable.
I mean, it's unreal.
Like
this
wow.
is some nasty. I mean, the accusations are strong.
Yeah.
So not necessarily all about the reading.
No. And this,
It doesn't just end up with reading. You can't read
Reading-
Noah. Oh, wow. That's...
The thing that's actually kind of funny about the whole thing is I started looking to see, okay, are people on this post really trolling 50 Cent? And this is like Mayweather's post on his Instagram where he's asking people to, really post vicious lines to make 50 feel bad about himself. Most of them are banging hard at Mayweather saying, it doesn't matter what you post anyway, you can't read it.
ouch. Ouch.
That's a good point.
I
I
love
never even
that they
thought
come
about
back
that.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
All right.
yeah, but I mean, I don't know where this is going to go. I don't know. I mean, but dang.
Yeah, somebody's got to read it to him.
Wow. So that opens up some pretty impressive stuff.
I mean, if you're 50 Cent, are you really worried about someone like, let's say, Floyd Mayweather hires somebody to like a hitman to go after 50? Are you've been shot 9 times already? And you're fine.
I don't know.
He's like bulletproof.
Yeah, I don't know. Who is 50 Cent? If he's the dude that's on Power, if you've ever seen that show, I'm not
Yes.
messing with 50 Cent.
It seems like he's kind of like that.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to mess with 50
He
Cent.
just accused Floyd of possibly being part of a murder.
Yeah.
I mean, my goodness, that got personal.
Where does it all go from here? I don't know. But,
Where else
man,
can it go?
the reading is
I don't know.
fantastic. It's on their
Jeez.
Instagram. Talking about on the Reading Rainbow tip here, Ryan Lochte, proud Florida Gator grad, has been banned from competition until 2019 for the use of an IV, which the big dum-dum, it's banned. They're not allowed to do it. So he posts a photo of him on his social media with an IV in his arm.
I was thinking, when I first heard the story, I was like, how did he get found out? And then all of a sudden they posted the picture up on the television. I was like, oh, because he's an idiot. Got it.
Yeah. So here's what I love. Yeah. This is Ryan Lochte at a press conference explaining what's going on. But I'm not sure who reads better, he or Floyd Mayweather.
I went and got an IV infusion of the vitamins that will help my immune system. I posted a picture on my Instagram account of me and Kayla, and Kayla and I doing the vitamins.
I mean, is he reading this for the first time?
I think he was. This? Somebody wrote this for him. And
what? Doing the vitamins,
what?
Infusion. I received an inquiry from USADA, which is the United States Anti-Doping Agency, about what was in the IV. I fully cooperated with their request. What I did not know was that even though I wasn't taking anything that was banned substances from WADA, which is a World Anti-Doping Agency.
Sound it out.
And there was nothing that I was taking that was prohibited on the list.
What?
Although,
oh my gosh, this is a hard time I'm reading in public.
If you could ever hear somebody sweat, I hear him sweating
there.
Oh
my gosh, this is just so the big gulps and everything.
In WADA's rules that you can't take more than 100 milliliters of anything in an IV infusion. I was not aware of that.
Yeah.
And what I was taking was over 100 milliliters.
Oh, I can't even do it. Oh, my gosh. Oh. Can we keep Ryan Lochte out of press conferences?
God bless his soul. Bring more.
I'm sure that the University of Florida is so proud of him.
I guarantee you, 100%.
So proud.
I will bet any money that I have, which isn't much, by the way. I will bet any money that I have that when he used the word...
Diener, you can't make a point about illiteracy and then choke on it.
Hold on. When he used the word inquiry, that was the first time he's ever said that word ever in a statement. I guarantee you.
Yeah. He was not looking forward to reading that.
No.
And you weren't looking forward to saying it.
That would happen to me. Inquiry.
Coming up here, FAU's got a few decommitments. Should they be worried about it? And more debate about the college football playoffs we'll talk about next.
Get Kevin's other show whenever the hell you want on YouTube and at 640thehurricane.com.
Well, you've got all kinds of college football media days going on. SEC's done theirs, ACC, Big Ten in the midst of doing theirs right now. And one of the topics that has come up at the Big Ten media days is, again, the playoffs. And one of the big reasons why it's come up is because Scott Frost, you might remember him, because last year he was the head coach of UCF, University of Central Florida, took them to the undefeated season and the big win in the bowl game over Auburn, and then the belief that, wait a minute, we are national champs as well, something that Nick Saban at Alabama has completely said, Bill crap. But now that he's the coach of Nebraska, he's at the Big Ten Media Days, and Scott Frost believes that the playoffs should be expanded to 8 teams. Are you shocked by that?
No, not at all.
He said it's hard to look at last year's college football season and not feel like an 18 playoff isn't where we should go. For the formula now, Scott Frost would bring together the champions of each Power 5 conference and then 3 at-large teams.
Makes sense.
UCF would have been one of those teams last year.
Yes, they would have.
He believes in starting the playoff earlier than in December so that the national championship still concludes right after the other bowl games.
All right.
And apparently he's getting some love at Big Ten Media Days from Jim Harbaugh on the idea, who actually goes even further. He says, I believe we need to eventually expand to 16 teams and then get rid of the conference championship games, that of which his Michigan Wolverines have not ever sniffed.
So there might be a reason
for that. Yeah,
his thinking there. That's just way too crazy for me. I love the 18 playoff idea. I've been for that for years.
Yeah.
16 seems like, years. While the BCS was still going on.
For so long.
Yes. 16 just sounds like too much. There's too many logistical problems there, I think, with 16.
Well, and there is the argument on the other side, and there are some people that are fighting back against it, like Penn State's head coach, James Franklin. He said, I'm not on the same page with that, talking about Harbaugh. This game, we started out playing 10 games, then we went to 11 games, and then it's 12, and now at the playoffs, you're talking about 15 games. That's a lot of games. So, yeah, I mean, ultimately what you want to do is you want to be competitive. You want to make money because when money comes in, it goes back to the schools. It's all great for education.
Yeah.
So ultimately what I think you would want to do is you do want a game or two to kind of warm up and try out some players and kind of get your groove on before you really hit the meat of your schedule. But they typically do 4 of those layup games right now, which seems a little excessive to me. I would say, why don't we talk about it? In fact, now a lot of teams are starting off with a heavy hitter. I mean, you've got that big LSU game that is going to be going on for
the Hurricanes.
The Canes.
Yeah.
The Canes start off strong.
Yeah.
Alabama, Louisville. You've got Michigan starting off with Notre Dame. So pretty much in the first 2 games now, they're trying to get that big matchup. High State TCU is going to be another one of those.
That's good.
Yeah, so I mean, and I think that's ultimately better what you want to see. The other thing that came up the SEC Media Days was now moving to like 9 or 10 conference games. Get rid of these things where you're playing these FCS teams. If you're Alabama, nobody wants to see Alabama playing Mercer the next to the last game at the end of the year. That's crazy.
It's so ridiculous how much the schedule is useless to a lot of. This is one of the problems I have with college football is playing like FAU playing Alabama. Yeah, FAU gets $1 million, but what does anybody else gain?
Well, yeah. I think the only thing about
FAU gets money towards their program, but other than that,
but the only thing I will give you on that is, okay, Alabama probably wants, they've got a quarterback issue right now. They want to, without risking losing a game, they want to get some reps in between these 2 quarterbacks to see who they might eventually go with. Some teams are like that.
That's a little too bad now, don't you think?
No, I don't, because, I mean, look, the NFL right now has got 4 preseason games where they get to work some things out.
Yeah.
Now, some of their star players don't even show up, but they get to, get an idea what they want to do with their roster. To me, give these teams 2 games, not playing an FCS, but you can play your FAUs in there, and then you go to a 9-conference game. I still like the conference championships, and then the rest of it, I like the 18 playoff. To me,
put them early, right?
You don't add any more games. Yeah, you take out 2 of the junk games that are in there. Instead of playing the first month of junk football, let's play 2 weeks of it, warm up a little bit, and then get into it.
No, I like it, and it makes more sense. I mean, I love, don't get me wrong, as a fan, I love the first week being, these high competition games like you mentioned with Miami, LSU.
Yeah.
But it doesn't really make sense when you start off with the biggest game of your season is your first game. You need to warm up a little bit.
Well, and sometimes it's very costly. Look at Florida State. With playing Alabama. You lose your quarterback in game 1, and boy, what a disastrous
season.
Ruined
their entire season.
Oh, yeah, they wound up having a disastrous season because of it.
Coach is gone.
Yeah.
One game, because that one game at the start of the season. Now they play Virginia Tech, Florida State to start the season, and then they have Samford.
Yeah.
So it's another one of those things. Like with Miami, they play LSU, and then they play Savannah State. That stuff should kind of be switched around.
It should be switched around. It should be it's just like you said with preseason in the professional sport. There should be easier games up front and then the better games towards the tail end. They're not helping themselves by putting these master games up front.
Well, and the only thing that I don't necessarily like too about the first game being the monster game is those teams are so different by the end of the season than they are at the beginning.
Right.
Yet you're still using that as a big yardstick on who makes the playoff. And you're like going, but this team is so improved from where they were, a la even my Buckeyes when they played Virginia Tech and got rocked in 2014 and were a much better team at the end of the season and could beat anybody in the country.
Well, this is because it's this dumbass system of people sitting around in a boardroom trying to figure out who's the best of the best to make it to the playoffs.
Well, if you want an expanded playoff, like Harbaugh's talking about with 16 teams, I would assume they would work it kind of similar to the way like the ACC basketball tournament does. If they do it that way, you would have the top 4 teams have a first and second round bye because of the way that basketball does it. 1 through 4 doesn't play until the quarterfinals. And if let's say you're a 12 seed or anything through like 12 through 16.
I really think that's insane. I mean, you start getting some garbage teams that have no shot of winning the national championship down there, and I think it's different than basketball.
But imagine if that garbage team winds up doing it.
If they did,
I think then you have but you won't because
why did the NCAA bracket go to 64 friggin' teams?
Basketball to me is a different game than it is football. Football, where you're talking about 22 players that matter, depth becomes a big issue. Basketball basketball, you don't have to worry about depth at that level because injuries aren't the same. And I think there's a little bit more of the element of luck or the draw or somebody goes cold or what might happen. So you can have that Cinderella run. I think a lot more in basketball than you're going to have in football. Just like with UCF last year. I mean, if you
I don't know.
The Giants, the gauntlet.
Giants won 2 Super Bowls being a second wild card team.
But you've got depth in the NFL. NFL's different than college. There's such separation between the top tier programs in college football to even just that second subset of teams that would be making it in, like possibly a West Virginia.
Yeah.
I mean, they really just game after game after game. You don't stand a chance. Yeah, maybe they might have a fluke upset, but they're not going to win 3 games in a gauntlet going up against the teams that are top tier. And you're going to wind up with the same 4 teams in the end of it every single year, every year anyways.
Maybe. I mean, you wouldn't have that 16 team.
16 to me is just crazy, and you're right. You got to add so many games.
They would end up playing 5 more games.
Yeah, that's the only thing is that you can't do that with football.
That doesn't even make sense to me.
8 games make sense.
Yeah, 8 games. I think we can do that. And I think I just gave you the roadmap on how to do it. It'd be simple and it'd be easy, and the season would be a lot better. And I think at that point, I think college football might become a good rival to the NFL.
Yeah,
with that
8 teams. We're on our way to 8 teams. That's going to happen as soon as this new TV deal is up, which I'm not sure when it is, but I think it's another few years. 8 teams is going to be the next move. And maybe that's what you can do, like you were saying. Just take out some of those fluff games.
Yeah.
I don't think you take out the conference championship games because you have to have the 5 conference championships as your automatic bids.
Yeah.
I like Scott Frost's idea. 3 at large.
Yeah, I kind of agree.
Let's do it.
Well, Last Chance U dropped Friday on Netflix. I've been watching it. It's not the same. The new coach they have in there is not Buddy Stevens from EMCC. They went to a different school, different coach, who really is not a very good coach. His quarterback coach is pretty awful.
Oh, gosh.
But you do see a lot of the current FAU guys. They did kind of a recap and went back and checked on them to see exactly what they're doing. And, hey, they turned some stuff around. Went from 3-9 to 11-3 at FAU. There are some of those high-ranking players. B.J. Emmons is a guy that was at Alabama that has gone to the community college route, but apparently has decided he's going to just sit this season and not do anything at all. He's going to hang at his home and help out his high school team and redshirt this year and leave his options open. He said FAU's not completely out of the question, but he's looking at some other big schools that are recruiting him. And also Nero Nelson, a top junior college prospect at wide receiver, who signed with the Owls in February, was dismissed over the summer. So a couple players are missing, but they say don't worry about the running back situation at FAU. They still got some pretty good names going to be coming in. One of those is Trey Mason's brother.
That's right. I heard about that.
Yeah, he's in the mix. It's Chauncey Mason. So he's went to Park Vista.
Trey.
So that's going to be coming up. Here in just a few minutes, Tiger Woods, just how big were the ratings, and is he going to make the Ryder Cup? We'll get to that. And my final 5 in Kev's Jock Jam Countdown next. Well, yesterday, Diener, you had mentioned Tiger Woods big on the ratings.
Yes.
For NBC, and I knew it when I was watching. I'm like, oh my gosh, because people were texting me, be like, hey, are you watching this right now? So I knew this was happening all over the country, and it was big. It was the highest ratings for NBC in 18 years.
Gosh.
Right when Tiger Woods was in the lead.
Jesus.
And you could just sense it. I'm like, oh my gosh, everybody, and even probably bigger than when he was at his peak, because people are like, okay, you want to be there when Tiger came back.
Right.
Didn't pan out that way, but it was ultimately good for Tiger Woods. The overall final round audience was up 37%.
That is enormous.
Over last year when Jordan Spieth won the Open.
Wow.
37%. They say normally Tiger Woods used to be worth 25% in ratings, but now that's 37%.
And it's even bigger now because, like we were saying yesterday when we were talking about this, it's the redemption story. People want to see that. Like you said, they want to be a part of that moment. Like, oh, wow, he's finally back. He did it. He won a major after all these years.
Like you've been doing?
Yes. And I was watching on Sunday, and I had to make a Publix run. And I said, you know what? I just got to go real quick. I rushed to Publix, got back, and still watched it.
Yeah.
So I was part of that crowd. I was like, I have to see this live.
Well, it's big for Tiger Woods just in everything. It took him from number 71 in the world to number 50 in the world golf rankings. And the good news for that is that makes him eligible for the Bridgestone Invitational coming up next week at Firestone. That's a $10 million purse on that.
Oh, he did make it?
Yeah, he did, because it's top 50.
Okay. So he just made it.
Just made it.
Wow.
But the big question now is, could he possibly make the Ryder team, which is the top 8 American golfers.
Wasn't there something, I think it was a year or two ago, where he was going to try to get in on the picture with the Ryder Cup team, and they said, no, this is only for team members or something like that, right?
Yeah. That was,
Man.
I mean, you talk about the cold water treatment of just like, wow, that's a wake-up call for Tiger.
Still working his way back. He's going to make it.
He might. We went from number 31 to 20 in the Ryder Cup standings. So it's top 8, so he's still a ways away, but he's still got the World Golf Championship and the PGA Championship to try to make up for it, and it's all about money winning.
Gonna get it.
Don't take my line. That's my line, okay?
You can have your line.
Thank you.
Okay, you can have your line.
Mm-hmm.
You're the Tiger doubter. I'm the Tiger lover. That's the way this goes.
Well, the one positive stat, because, right now they've got their 8th that's already kind of in, but Tiger Woods has played just 12 events that offer Ryder Cup points, about half as many tournaments as most American prospects. So he doesn't have the same amount in the field, so he's doing better with the tournaments he's in than a lot of the players already on the team. So, if he brings it the next 2, he's going to be in.
Just
we'll
saying. Look, this is what golf wants. I mean, you're telling me that golf is not thrilled about this?
They're totally thrilled.
Of course golf is thrilled about it. You just got to find somebody else who is, too.
Okay, just because you're not thrilled about it doesn't mean that
obviously look at the ratings. There's a lot of people.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
the thrill. Yeah,
kind of proves the point.
The situation with him though is that the reality of him being able to come back as strong as he was before. I don't see it actually happening. I don't understand why you're so fixated on it happening.
Because I love a good story.
I understand that, but the reality of it though.
The reality of it is that there's no reason in my mind, just based off of the way he's been playing, as to why he can't win at least one more major. I mean, will he get to 18? I don't know. Look, the guy's getting older, obviously.
You were the one that said that once he does it, now it's going to be like, wow, can he catch Jack?
That's going to be the question, yeah. If once he gets number 15, that's going to be the next question. Can he catch him?
Going to get to 3
I don't know.
more?
I don't know. He's not going to be winning 3 majors in a year again.
Just the fact that you can still have the discussion makes a lot of people happy.
Yes.
Including NBC.
That's right.
Well, we did the Jock Jam countdown. We gone through 20 down to number 5 right now. Yesterday we had Eminem's "Lose Yourself" and a little Crazy Train.
This is the big day.
Jump around in there, and Enter Sandman was at number 6 yesterday.
Right.
Today we start off number 5, Kevin's greatest Jock Jams of all time. I just kind of feel like you got to put AC/DC in here somewhere.
Absolutely.
At some point in time.
Yeah. I mean,
this is where they fit for you, is right? Just snug at number 5.
Yeah. You can argue it, but I mean,
you don't seem too confident about it,
You're
though.
not, right? He doesn't seem happy about this choice.
If I felt like one was obligated, I kind of felt like Thunderstruck, was probably the obligated one. And images did start to come to my mind. How many promos for sporting events has this one been used in since the 90s?
Yeah, I was going to say since the 90s, it's probably a lot.
Yeah, so it's been in a ton. Okay, so I got that at number 5. Final 4 here. Kevin's top 20 Jock Jams of all time. Gotta say, Eye of the Tiger, baby.
Gotta do it.
Survivor, right?
Yeah, you had 2 from Rocky on here. You had the Gonna Fly Now, somewhere in the top, it was 17, I think.
Gosh, it's totally cheesy, but if a Rocky movie is on, especially like, I leave it on, I watch it, I can't help myself.
100%.
It still's like the best pump-up music you could totally ever have.
I think it's
30
only
years later.
cheesy because now it's associated with Rocky. You know what I mean? Like it's like when the song came out, was it immediately associated with Rocky?
Yeah,
like, was it?
I think
did
so,
it come
yeah.
out? Was it written for the movie?
Yeah, it's Frank Stallone.
Yeah.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. Okay, so then that makes sense.
What was it?
Yeah,
it's his brother, Frank Stallone.
Did what?
He sang the song.
No, he didn't.
It's done by the band Survivor.
What do you mean?
Idiot.
Isn't this Frank Stallone?
No.
Frank Stallone did something with Rocky. Look at Frank Stallone.
I'm not looking up Frank
Yeah,
Stallone.
I know
you
who Frank
idiot.
Stallone is. Yeah, I think he sings like he's like a crooner. Right? He's not the lead singer of Survivor.
I'm gonna look this up.
So,
Yeah. Just how wrong is Diener here?
Come on, man.
Frank Stallone.
So the lead singer, his name is Frankie Sullivan. Is that what you were thinking of? Eye of the Tiger released in 1982. When was Rocky released?
Yeah, Rocky was the first Rocky was, I thought it was 78.
What did Frank Stallone do in Rocky? He did something. He had something to do with Rocky.
I have no freaking
This is gonna
clue.
bother me now. The rest of the I can't find it. What am I thinking of?
I don't know what you're thinking of, Diener. We're going to be here for a while.
Yeah, I know,
Trying to
trying to figure out what the hell's going on
We're not
here.
waiting on that. Yeah.
There you go.
You come back tomorrow with that.
All right.
Please
Number
don't.
3. All-time greatest jock jams. I mean, can you argue? Guns N' Roses, Welcome to the Jungle.
Is this the Frank Stallone version of it?
Yes.
This is the Frank Stallone
Frank
version.
Stallone sings the greatest jock jams. Welcome to the jungle.
We got
fun and games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Frank Stallone's greatest jock jams.
I said it so confidently, too.
Yeah, boy, you were really in there.
Yeah,
You thought you had something, Diener.
Yeah, I did.
Thought you had something.
You're an idiot in all confidence levels.
Yes. At number 2, greatest jock jams.
Of course.
Queen.
You got this, and We Are the Champions mashed together. So
Yeah, you can throw them
keep it
both,
one.
yeah. Both get them in there.
Yeah, but this one is like, this is the big one. I'm super stoked for this movie, by the way.
Oh my gosh, this movie looks absolutely amazing. The trailers
Yeah,
are
it does.
just fantastic.
Yeah.
Honestly, you could right now tape together the 3 trailers I've seen, which is 12 minutes, and it's a fantastic movie.
It does.
Yeah, I'm already in.
I'm buying all in on this. This is going to be a great movie. And the number 1 greatest
All
jock
right, here we
jam
go.
on my list.
Waiting for this all week.
It wasn't number 1 until
Oh, yeah.
I realized watching the World Cup, and as the teams are taking the field in Russia.
Yep.
They're playing this, and the whole arena is going, I'm like, they freaking stole our thing.
This is
Freaking Reds.
Hey, yeah, I mean, I think this is probably like the most, right now, the international arena song.
It is, yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I mean, pretty much now every college team uses it.
every college team. The Heat used this.
it was everywhere
during their
here,
run.
and in Europe was ole, 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 and then this took over
Right.
for that.
That's why when I'm like, well, when I heard this, I'm like, this has got to be number 1. I mean, this is your number 1 current global jock jam,
That's
White
so
Stripes,
good. Unreal.
7 Nation Army.
So good.
Okay, well, we got the top 20. I'm going to have Diener post this on our website at 640 The Hurricane so you can check it out. And then tomorrow, I'm going to have you guys tell me where I went wrong
I have a few in my head.
and tell me what I missed in my own top 20 list. So we'll get that. Go to 640thehurricane.com to check it out. You obviously know you can check this thing out on YouTube. We do this thing live. Kevin's other show, it's under the KVJ umbrella. Just go to that channel. It's going to be right there. We got a podcast as well. Search for it by name and follow us on Twitter at Kevin's Other Show.
You listened to him on the KVJ show for years. Every time he tried to talk sports, he'd get shut down. After years of begging, we finally gave in. Brought to you by Wellington Anti-Aging. Low T? Go to WellingtonAntiAging.com. And by Bremen Motor Cars in West Palm Beach. A world-class experience. Shop BremenPorsche.com now. It's Kevin's Other Show on 640 The Hurricane.